For the second presentation, I would like to welcome Professor Rasheen Bappu, Adjunct Professor and Data Scientist. He will be speaking on the demonstration of best practices, knowledge and expertise in IT and cybersecurity of port operations.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's working. Right. Anyway, after sumptuous lunch, I think most of you all must be feeling sleepy. And this is also not an interesting topic, basically for corporates and the business community, except for the IT guys. But here, today, you all are going to focus, not the IT guys actually, right? IT guys, we are going to keep them away, and we are going to get you all to focus on cybersecurity. Actually, cybersecurity is economic security or business security. Let's forget about the cyber word, right? And we have heard about food security, we have heard about national security, we have heard about security in everything, right? And we think, when you say security, it is a military. There is no military dimension in this. Everything, when it comes to national security, cyber security is also part of it. So we are concerned about the national security, we are concerned about the business security, and our country is bleeding at the moment. And top of that, geopolitics is playing a big role in terms of crippling the economy further, and crippling the companies and the corporate sector, the shipping sector, the logistics sector, the supply chain, domain. All these are being, targeted. And no matter how big we are, how big the company is, no matter how big the business is, no matter how many people we have in our companies, all of us have a commitment. That's the commitment, basically, which I want from you, and to see that we have an economic security, business security, in terms of gearing the logistic shipping industry and the supply chain. Are you committed? Are you geared? Are you? Yes? Right, okay. Right. Well, the overview is, as I told you, resulting in cyber attacks have been rapidly increasing over the years, resulting in big financial losses, regulatory sanctions, collateral damages such as reputation and trust. Right. And, okay. Cyber attacks on maritime industry, right, basically has increased by 400% in 2020, according to Naval Dome. More than 500 cyber attacks in the marine industry in 2020, according to US Coast Guard Cyber Strategic Outlook. Okay. Let's look at, some of these cyber attacks, which I want to, share with you, and what kind of attacks which we have encountered. Attack on expeditors in mid-February 2022, 2 to 3 weeks, the recovery period. Attack on JNCPT, the nearby port, Mumbai 2022. HMMM breach, the South Korean shipping company, June 2021. K-Line, Japan, 2 attacks in 2021. So these are basically, we know basically they have a good infrastructure. So what can we think of, Sri Lanka apparently, Japan, India, and, rest of the world. August 2021, Port of Houston, US, target of an attack that involved a password management program that contained a formerly unknown vulnerability. Transnet attack, the major South African logistics rail and port operator was attacked in June 2022, appeared to be the result of a ransomware. Okay, Swire Pacific offshore breach, the Singapore-based shipping company suffered unauthorized access to its IT system in November 2021. Company reported losing proprietary commercial information. Data breach was very serious. 2021, Danos Management Consultants suffered a software supply chain attack in which cyber criminals used vulnerabilities in software platforms to breach multiple targets at once. The cyber criminals apparently aimed to encrypt victims' data and held it for ransom. Hellman ransomware attack was in 2021, and their day-to-day operations crippled. As a result of this, they were forced to remove all connections to their central data center. Their data was accessed before they took themselves offline. Okay. 2020, port of Shahid Rajin in Iran, right, suffered an attack that almost shut down its operations. Computers that regulate the flow of vessels, trucks, and goods all crashed at once, actually. 2020, port of Kennewick, Washington, malware injected via a phishing email was the cause of this attack. 2020, the port of Marseille, right? The name of the attack is Mespinoza Paisa ransomware, right? Maritime infrastructures were affected by the attack due to their interconnection with information systems in 2020, serious ransom attack on CMA, CGMA, and external access to the company's IT application and booking system were vulnerable. 2017, okay, this is the type of attack which the route to Cyprus to Djibouti for about 10 hours was jammed. GPS jamming attack, more than 280 vessels were reportedly by South Korea to have experienced navigation system issues. The most frequent types of attacks are phishing, malware, social engineering, brute force, and denial of service. Large-scale incidents, the port system of Maersk, I think most representative was here, and I must mention this, that attack was called NotPetya malware and WannaCry ransom in 2017. Maersk ships were still at sea, and its 76 port terminals around the world stopped operations. And spoofing incidents have already been reported in the Black Sea, the GPS systems. The ship was at sea, but the geolocation system on board claimed that the ship was on land and airport. So can you imagine basically what kind of cyber attacks can mislead? In May 2017, a spoofing attack led to a collision between US Navy ship and a South Korean fishing boat. Right, okay. So these are a couple of attacks which I just wanted to share with you. How serious, just to understand how serious these attacks are, how these are going to be relevant in our business and commercial purposes. And possible impacts for ports, right? Shutdown of operation, as we have already experienced, port paralysis, sensitive and critical data theft, and data and information is money these days, and there is no value for it. There is we cannot estimate a value. It's so important that we need to protect them. Cargo and goods stealing, illegal trafficking, organized crimes, drugs, arms, prohibited goods, most wanted people, etc. Financial loss and costs, fraud and money stealing, system damages, tarnished reputation, loss of competitiveness, and human injuries or deaths and kidnapping. So when the cyber attacks, port system, all these can, creep in. Cyber attacks on port system, as you know, there is no option. We have to accept documents, and we have to share documents with ships. And file-borne threats pose challenge for ports. Malware is designed to access or damage a computer without the owner's knowledge, actually, right? And hackers embed malicious code, seemingly innocent files. When those files are opened, the malware automatically executes and allows hackers to gain access, right? You and me, all of us, basically, we don't know, at what time these are going to crop up, right? So we have to be on alert. So security, as we think about, national security, personal security, right? Gone are the days that we had physical security and protecting, our premises with security companies. Now we have to be concerned on this side, apparently. Okay, these are some of the best practices of ports which I personally got engaged and visited. Port of San Diego, dedicated cybersecurity staff, and they have a multi-factor authentication system. Port of Los Angeles, open cyber resilience center. Port of New Jersey, and New York formed a maritime cybersecurity coalition to improve information sharing. Right? So these are basically, this is a plan of a ship where cyber attacks can occur. This is a diagram of a ship. So I will just rule out, these are quite technical, but we look at, for a hick of it, and just to have knowledge purpose. AIS, GPS, GNSS, ECDIS, VSAT, RDR, VSS, IECS, and IT systems. All these are vulnerable for cyber attacks. Major threats to logistics industries. Increased security threat from cyber and data privacy breaches, failure of critical IT systems, dependence on third-party suppliers, third-party security vulnerability, and digital supply chain resilience, threat from new emerging competitors, and over-dependence on national infrastructure, right? We are not going to depend anymore on the national infrastructure. We are going to have our house in place, and we are going to concentrate on our own, actually. Only thing is we are dependent on the national infrastructure for communication purposes. To use, SLT or, whatever service providers we have. Security and countermeasures, right? These are something which we need to be concerned about it. I will just run through. You can have a look at it, apparently. Modern and autonomous ships have become ripe targets, actually. High-profile cyber attacks due to the increasing usage of digital technologies, right? More you use digital technologies also, you are more prone to it, actually. Several countermeasures and in-depth defense strategies should be adapted in order to build resilience to external and internal security threats. First is to create a continuous monitoring system that can provide real-time situation awareness of the ship's security and high risk. Anyway, blockchain technology have been proposed to improve autonomous vessels controls in the security in many studies. The main feature of blockchain technology, including traceability, transparency, auditability, immutability, and decentralization, is proposed to enable secure communication and secure storage of the data. Utilization of the technology will eliminate some critical security threats for ships, communications such as losing data, data changing by malicious actors, or data hijacking. Blockchain technology will play a major role, basically, in future in identification and certification, ensuring data. Okay, recommendations. Ports need to secure operations technology, OTs, right? OT systems, and asset inventory, vulnerability assessments, etc. Prepare your business for cyber resilience. Cyber resilience plans has to be there. Cyber resilient teams have to be there in organizations, actually. Take measures to prevent breaches. The privileged access management approach is required here. Use cyber drills to practice responses in order to minimize the damage caused by the attacks that will inevitably occur. Losses arising from cyber risks to cover under the traditional insurance policies. Actually speaking, I don't think Sri Lankan insurance companies, provide this coverage. So I think industry leaders will have to sit with them and, because globally it is happening. AIA is one of the companies which provide maritime cybersecurity insurance. Train your employees, right? Hire a cybersecurity expert, hire a cybersecurity officer in your company, actually, right? Conduct regular security audits, have external security certifications, right? Thank you very much.